Hey Arty friends, back with you today with an awesome YouTube hop. Our theme for this month is Winter Wonderland. We also have an awesome prize from our sponsor Kidaholic Kits. I will tell you more about how you can win later. Now onto my layout. Today I am scrapbooking a 9x12 layout like I normally do, and this is my winter. This is how I see my winter. I did struggle with the Winter Wonderland theme because being in Australia, like we don't have snow. Oh, we do have snow, but I have never been to the snow. Yes, I'm 40 years old and have never seen snow, and I don't ever want to because I hate winter. I hate the cold. I hate feeling cold. Summer is my month. And so I don't have a lot of winter photos. So this is how I see winter. So this photo I'm scrapbooking today is a picture of the Mornington Pier down in Victoria. And I love going down there and over winter because it's absolutely beautiful, and you know, you can walk around and walk down the rock face and all that sort of stuff. So this was a photo taken a few years ago on a cold winter's day. So this is how I love my winter. So first off, I had that basic grey scrapbooking paper that's like really old, that paper, and I cut it down to a 9x, or a little bit smaller than 9x12 because I wanted to back it on that white cardstock. And then I used that Kaisercraft stencil, the Fonty stencil, Scripty stencil, and put some modelling paste through that and let that dry. Now I am stamping with my Stays On ink. That first Scripty stamp is a block stamp, I should say, sorry, that I've had for a long time, so I don't think you could ever get it again. And I also use that Kaisercraft background stamp with the dots on it also. So now I'm using my Stampin' Up punch there and just adding some details around the edge of that paper, and then I will go off and I will sew around the edges. Unfortunately I can't sew on the video because my actual sewing machine I have set up in the dining room, so I have to go off to the dining room to stitch. I've come back, and at this point I decided I wanted to have a black background. I think the white and the sort of the creamy light paper, basic grey paper, sort of blended in too much, so I've pulled out a black piece, and I think that it just works so much better. And yes, I am using a black piece of scrapbooking paper. I very rarely stray away from my white scrapbooking paper, but and this layout I have, so I'm very excited. So now I'm just going to rough up those edges as I've just stuck it down with my ATG gun. And yes, we're still fighting. I don't know if I like it, but it is easier than having to use just the tape rolls. It is a lot easier, but it's so big and bulky. Like, I need a smaller one. Does anyone know anyone that has a smaller one? Yeah, so just roughing up those edges, and then I come back. See, I only did this layout last night and I already have forgotten. Yeah, now I start doing my layering. And with my layering, I'm using a mixture of papers that I have just pulled out of my junk drawer that I have, and in my junk drawer I just have all sorts of odd bits and bobs and stuff like that. So this is a piece of tracing paper that I've just ripped off and just chucked in the box, and I'm using that Scripty stamp to stamp on it with the Stays On ink to give it a bit of a background, and then I'm just crumpling it up to give a bit more texture. That little file card, I don't know where that came from. I found it in there and I went, oh, that's kind of cute. I'll use that. And it was in the colours that I was sort of going for. I was sort of going for like a creamy white, browny with a bit of black sort of theme. really don't know. I really wanted to go really vintage with this because when I edited the photo, when I turned it into black and white, and I added a bit of a vintage tone to it, and I really liked the feel of it. So that's sort of where I'm heading with this layout. So yeah, as I'm doing my layering, I will tell you a little bit about the YouTube hop and the competition. So all you have to do, sorry, I think I just pulled the microphone away too far then. So all you have to do to win is you need to hop along to all the videos. All the links will be below in the description box. Hop along to all the videos until you get back to this video, my video. And you need to make sure you leave a comment on every person in the hops video to enter. It's that easy. And you will go in the draw to win an awesome prize from Kitaholic Kits. And Kitaholic Kits, if you don't know them, they're a great kit company. And Steph just makes awesome kits. She puts together the best kits, and they're really just awesome. So it's a great prize to win. So that's all you need to do. So pretty easy stuff, I think. So we'll go back to my layering, and I've just cut down that file card and inked it with that walnut ink, I think I used. Can't remember. And I used that piece of scrapbooking paper, which I believe is another basic grey. It's an old one from, I've had this in my stash for a lot of years. And then I've used my punch again, and then I've taken it off to the sewing machine just to sew around the edges. And at this point I realised that I sewed too far in, and then you couldn't see the stitching when I put the photo down. So I just trimmed down the photo a little bit just so you could see a little bit of the stitching. So I've added that doily, which I have tea dyed behind there, and that brown paper is actually a brown paper bag that I tea dyed as well, and I love the sound of it. I wish I had had it. I should have done it live, because then I could have scrunched it and then you could have heard the awesome sound. I love the sound of the tea dyed paper when it's dried. It's just awesome. I could sit there and listen to it all day. Excuse me, sorry, I am getting over a cold, so I do apologise. Sorry. Sorry. So I've just inked the edges of that brown paper bag, and now I'm using some of that muslin just to break up all that brown, because I had the tea-dyed doily, I had the brown paper bag, and I had that brown file card, and I just needed something else just to break it up. So I just put in some of that muslin in there, and it sort of adds to that real vintagey feel, I think. So just using my stapler to put all that together, and then what do I do? Oh yes, I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different, because I don't normally, well, I can't really say that. I just wanted to do something different, and I felt like I wanted to wrap some twine around the photo. I don't know why. I've always wanted to do it. I don't think I've ever done it before, but I've always wanted to do it. I've always had it in the back of my mind. And with that little tab from the file folder, that's sort of what made me want to do it. And also you will notice that I am using a little bit of red today. So, and I'm not a person that uses red. I only really use red for Christmas. Other than that, I sort of tend to stay away from the colour red. It's not my favourite colour, but I have added little peaks of red because that basic grey paper, in the lines you can see there's the red lines, so I needed to bring in a little bit of red. And I found that little card that you just saw before, and it had a little red like stamp on it, and I thought, oh, that's enough to bring in a little bit of red. And I've added in a little tag from my stash, just a craft tag there. And that stick, this is funny, I set up all the stuff that I wanted to use in my layout. Then I went off and cooked dinner. And while I was cooking dinner, I was thinking about what else I could add into the layout. And I just look up, and in my lounge room, I have this vase, and it has all these little twigs sticking out of it. And I went, well, that's it. That's what I'm going to use. So I went and took a pile out of my little display in my vase and broke them up, wrapped some standard thread around it to sort of make like a little bunch, and yeah, just pop that, and that's my little embellishment for this layout. So I reckon that's really, really cute. So you'll probably see me use that technique in future videos, because I really love that. So I need to find out where I can buy more of those sticks, because I don't have that many, but yeah, or else I'm going to end up with an empty vase. So now I changed the thread, the twine from that tag, because it was a light cream, and I wanted it to match the string, the twine that was around the photo. So I've just added that, and I also needed to add a little bit more black into it to sort of go with the sorry about that, that was my phone, to go with the little stick twine thing that I just made, and it just sort of, so it all ties in together. I've just lost my train of thought then because of the phone ringing. I do apologize for that. So yeah, I just cut off the end of that little tag that I had, because I could use that end bit for another project, and just inked up the edges, and yeah, I'm just going to stick that down with my glue, and I end up sticking it down a little bit crooked, but it doesn't really matter. Only I know it's crooked. Looking at it, I don't think you can really tell. Let me know. Do you think it looks really bad because it's crooked? Anyway, so I stick that down, and then I stick my photo down, and my photo cluster down there just with the glue, and then I pop that tag into the side, and I'm hoping that there was enough glue in there to hold it, because I didn't add any glue to that tag, which yeah, it might fall out, but if it does, I'll just re-glue it back in there. And then yeah, I just fluff around with that tag, and just fluff around with the twine and the cotton, and until I like what I see. And then I think I come in with some white paint. For those who have watched my videos, oh no, here I do a bit of stamping. Sorry, I only did this layout last night and I already forgot. That stamp set I've had for a while. That's a Lemur Weber stamp set, and it just had these really like splattery circles on it, and I really, really liked that look. So I used the walnut ink and just lightly stamped. I did the second stamp, you know, where you stamp off and then stamp it on, because I didn't really want it to be super, super dark. And then it also needed something else, so I went and got that crisscross checkered sort of stamp from Kaiser Craft and added that there as well. And so now back to what I was saying before. Those who have seen my videos before and who are subscribed to my channel know that I love white paint. I love my white paint, and I really felt like I needed that little bit of white paint, and I was only going to do it up the top and the bottom, and then I couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop, so I went further, and I ended up getting paint on my photo where I didn't want it to go, and like usually always happens. But yeah, I just can't help myself. I can't stop. I just love white paint. It just to me, it just brings it all together, and it gives it that little bit of an extra messy look, and I love the messy look. I love being messy. So, and I'm just using a plastic palette knife just to spread that around. I find it's easier to use the palette knife than a brush, because I'm not putting as much paint down as a brush would. So now I am going through my tiny letter stickers that I have. I have a whole thousands of the things. And off camera I added my title, and my title is My Kind of Winter. And now I'm using some of that Delusions in the red. Yes, I have red Delusions. I think this is the first time I've ever used it. And I'm just going to add some little red splatters around the page, just to tie in a little bit of more of that red. I didn't want to add too much because, like I said before, I'm not a red person. So yeah, it just needed that little bit more red, and I thought it would be better than doing black. I just mopped up that red with the leftover ink with a bit of scrap muslin, because, you know, one day, you never know, I could use it for Christmas, save it for Christmas. So now I come in with my grey lead, and you all know I love my grey lead, and I'm just going to doodle around the little splatters and do my little swirly squiggly lines. And then I also do a grey lead border, just a real rough sketchy border around the edge, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow the hop and leave a comment for everyone through the whole hop, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you all next time. So bye.